And the rest. We have the honor of having, well, actually 3 guests and 1 new member. So let me introduce all of them. First of all, we have a new member. He just handed in his membership form. So I put you a little bit on the hot seat, only that we can say welcome. Everyone, this is Dinesh. Welcome to our club. And as we go through the meeting, each person that stands up here will tell a little bit about their role. And as the president, I just introduced the meeting. I have the great fortune of introducing our guests. And today we have 3 guests. 2 are returning guests. Please let's welcome Lydia. This is Lydia's 2nd time at our meeting, so I hope you enjoy it again. And also let's welcome Vic Tm. This is your 3rd time, and I believe you've decided to join as well. So, welcome as a new member very soon. And we also have someone here who's here for the first time as a guest, and that is Ola Bali. At the end of the meeting, I would like to ask each of our guests, and our new member might have the opportunity to participate today. We'll see. During the meeting, but I'll ask each of the guests what your general impression might have been of the meeting. So it would be very brief. If you just want to give us a couple of thoughts at the end, we would appreciate it. So I hope you enjoyed the meeting. And with that, we had a few of us from the club had a very exciting weekend this last weekend. And I've been talking about what went on this last weekend for months, actually, since the last time this event occurred. So, does anybody know where 4 of our club members were this last weekend? We were in Berlin, enjoying the district conference. So the district conference, it comes after the club level, the area level, the division conference, and then finally the district conference. And it covered countries all the way from Norway down to Greece. So it's a big conference. There were over 300 people there. And the highlight of the conference, of course, is the International Speech Contest. So we've got to watch both the semifinals and the finals of the International Speech Contest. And now the winner of that contest will go on to Vancouver for the International Conference, which encompasses the entire world of Toastmasters clubs, which is over 350,000 people. That person will go compete at that level. So it's really interesting to have watched her compete both in the semifinal and the final, and now we'll get to see her compete and see how well she does at the International Speech Contest. And at the end of the meeting, I'll tell a little bit more about what all happened this weekend in Berlin. But I won't tell everything. Not everyone needs to know about everything that happened at a conference. Some things need to stay there. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Monica.
So good morning, everybody. Good morning, dear guests. We're very happy to have you here today with us. I'm honored to be the Toastmasters of today. Last time I was it as well, so it's my 2nd time in a row. Just for the newcomers, for you to know, Toastmasters of today, my role is to guide you through the meeting. The meeting consists of 3 parts. First, we have speakers. We have 2 speakers today. Then we have a second part that is the table topics. This is impromptu speeches. You are going to be asked, or we have a question actually, and the idea is to organize your thoughts in a way so that you can respond impromptu, give an impromptu answer. Usually we don't ask for a guest, but you will see how it works. Then the third part is the evaluation. You know, feedback is very important in this kind of meetings, so we all are going to, or actually we have an evaluator who is going to have a team, and they are going to provide feedback on the different roles of and different parts of the meeting. With this, I would like to call our evaluator, Toastmaster Vic Tm.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, fellow colleagues, fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests. For the benefit of the guests mostly, I'll be the general evaluator today. I'll later call upon my team who will be supporting me with reports on the speeches, prepared speeches, the grammarian, the hour counter, the timer, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Gente, would you perhaps like to introduce your team and to ask each of them to explain briefly their role?
So, the first evaluator is Krista. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. I am Krista, and I will be evaluating Tristan's speech today. His speech is from Project 4 of the Basic Manual, and it is entitled How to Say It. So his objectives for this speech are to select the right words and sentence structure to communicate his ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly, to use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas, and finally to eliminate jargon and unnecessary words and use correct grammar. His timing will be 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Krista. The second evaluator is James. Please, James, introduce yourself and your role.
I am James. I am another evaluator, so I'm doing a similar role to Krista. I'll be evaluating Melissa today. So she's going to be doing a speech from the Communication Manual number 5, Your Body Speaks. So this is about body language and how it enhances your speech in terms of using your stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, eye contact can also help. Make sure your message can get across and is achieved through make sure the speech purpose comes across. So body language is very important, so use your stance, movement, gestures, facial, as I said, is the objective of the speech, and you have 5 to 7 minutes to complete.
Thank you very much, James, for the thorough description. It's now Lily's term as a grammarian. Please kindly introduce your role and yourself. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Lily, and I will be listening to the use of language, and if I find some mistakes, I'll try and pinpoint them and perhaps offer some suggestions, and if I hear some very good use of language, then I will also bring that forward as a good example.
Thank you very much,
Excuse
Lily.
me, Lily, do we have a word of the day?
Yes, this morning I was at an NGO meeting, and I was sitting here right now in our Toastmasters meeting thinking, report some word of the day. Oops, that was my job then to get a word of the day, and I thought synergy. Synergy. Synergy is the interaction of all the different types of things, and for me it was brought alive through my presence at an NGO meeting where there was also cooperation with UNODC, UN and IAEA and cybersecurity, and it was an exciting example of synergies that can arise when we work together. And I'd like to suggest synergy as the word of the day, and I'll be listening to the use of the word synergy throughout the meeting.
Thank you very much, Lily. We all look forward to bring our synergies together today. The next one in line is the up counter. Sorry, timekeeper. Yunroy, could you please introduce yourself and your role? Timekeeper.
Thank you.
dear Toastmaster and distinguished guests. I'm Yurito. I'm so happy to be the timekeeper today. And my role is to record the time of your speech and also inform you your speech the time is, because time is very important factor for speech as well. For the prepared speech, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. When the time is 5 minutes, I will show this green card to you. And if the time is 6 minutes, I will show this yellow card. And if the time is 7 minutes, the maximum is 7 minutes, I will show this red color. And for table topics, the time is from 1 minute to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. When the time is 1 minute, I will show this green one. When the time is 1:30, I will show this yellow one. When the time is 2 minutes, I will show this red color. And for evaluation, the time is for 2 and 3 minutes. When the time is 2 minutes, I will show this green color. When the time is 2:30, I will show this yellow color. And when the time is 3 minutes, I will show the red color. Yeah, I hope that everyone can obey the rules of the time. Okay.
Thank you very much, Yunro. I hope you haven't scared the guests with your red color today. The next is Rina, our counter, please.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, my job is listen carefully and any unnecessary words, ahs, repetitions, and count them and make them play. And I have already started with it. This is my at the end of James. You have already 4.
I know.
Be careful.
Thank you, Rina. The next one is Toastmaster Tristan, the fellow counter. Please.
Thank you. This is the first time I take a role, and I thought it was a very important role, the fellow counter. As part of the exercise on table topic that you will be running later, we will ask everybody to make a vote. Those votes are going to go in that little bucket, whatever you call it, glass, and then my job is going to be to count properly the results of the ballot and communicate them back to everyone.
Thank you very much. So that concludes the introduction of our evaluation team for today. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Kenton. Now we're going to go through the essence actually of the first part of our meeting. These are the speeches. And since Krista already gave the objectives of the first speaker, Tristan's objectives, so I think I will call now Tristan to start with his speech. I have to say, you mentioned before that was your first role that you have taken as a ballot counter, but I have to say as well that it's great that you, within a couple of months that you have been a member in the club, you are already giving your full speech. I mean, this is more than many of us have done already, so great, and yeah, I want to congratulate you for that.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow member, distinguished guest. What is this image about?
Brexit.
Brexit. The United Kingdom leaving the EU. This was a big news last year, one of the biggest news in Europe last year, and it got a lot of press coverage. Leave. 10 things I hate about the EU. EU plot to scrap Britain. EU plot to scrap Britain. And UK votes to leave. And actually, that generated a big expansion of would other countries leave the EU? Frexit didn't happen for France. Do you know what was the word for Austria? Opposite. And actually, there was a name for every single country. Brexit, Frexit. The one I like most is Finland, is Fixit. What I want to talk today is about, I'm a citizen of the European Union, and I would like to share my views and my thoughts about this. Am I an European or I am French, or I'm both. And what I want to show to you is that we are not living at the simple level. I'm a citizen of France, but I'm also a European. And I'm also many other things. And you just have to understand that there is different layers. And we're not either French or European. We're actually both in a certain way. And it's like this cake. So let me start with the mega view. You remember this guy?
Yes.
I spoke about him last time. He wants to make the human species a multi-planetary species. Excuse me. So we're going to live on different planets. So if you ask me, where do I come? If I meet people from another galaxy, from another planet, or solar system, I say I come from the solar system, this one. And actually, if I go further, I may tell them I'm actually coming from the planet Earth, this one. If I'm meeting people from somewhere else on the world, I would tell them I come from Europe. And maybe I tell them I come from France. If I'm meeting other people from Europe, I would tell them I come from France. And actually, I come from that region between the Alps and the Rhone River. Rhone-Alpes, it's called. That's what I would tell them. But if I meet people from France, I would tell them that I come from France. I would tell them I come from Rhone-Alpes, that specific region. And actually I would say, I come from the department of L'Ain, which is between Lyon and Geneva. It's covered that area. But if I meet people from my department of L'Ain, I tell them, actually, I come from the district which is called the Pays de Gex, which is between Geneva and the Jura, that region. If I meet people from my district, I tell them I'm actually coming from that municipality, Ornay, which is between the Geneva Lake and the Jura Mountains. Here you see the Geneva Airport. That's where I'm from. But if I meet people from my municipality, which is Ornay, I'll tell them I actually come from the village of Villars-Tacon. That's where I'm from. And if I meet people from my own village, well, I tell them I come from the Rue de Bretigny, next to the Rajput restaurant and that commerce. And actually, if I meet people close, well, actually, my wife and I, we built this house. That's where I live. That's where I grew up. That's where my brother lives. I know all my neighbors. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that actually it's like Russian dolls. Depending to who you talk, you're part of a different group of people, a group of ensemble. And what I've just showed you, municipalities, district departments, regions, state groups and states, planets, they all have some kind of a structure, even flags. I put the UN flag for the planet because I thought it was pretty cool. And you have to live on this level. And France, as a state, is 68 million people. The economy, the power to discuss with 7.5 billion, it's better to be part of a larger group, which is the European Union, in this specific case. And you have similar regional groups of states in various places across the globe. So, there are three things the EU projects brought to the European citizens. The EU brought peace within the EU. We never had 70 years of uninterrupted peace within those 28 countries in Europe. And that was the primary objective. A lot of people forget about it. The second thing is the EU project brought freedom of movement. Now, as a EU citizen, I move across any country within the EU without stopping at the border. I can even decide to live in any of those countries if I want to. And finally, the European EU project brought greater economic power to all its members together. It brought the euro, and it brought the ability to negotiate with other groupings like the US, Japan, or other groups of people. The EU is not perfect. Has a big bureaucracy, and it could benefit from greater synergy between the states and the European Union and its Commission. So, what I want you not to forget is, when you're a citizen of the EU, You're also citizen of the state. You're also citizen of a municipality, a district, a region and stuff. We're living in different layers, and we should never forget that there is this distinction and that we should not combine them, but keep them apart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tristan, for giving us an overview of the advantages and of the view and of presenting the synergies. It was really interesting. And I would like to go now to our second speaker. Actually, the objectives of the... Yes, you're right. Of course, as I mentioned before, feedback is very important in our meeting. So you all have in front of you a piece of paper where you can provide feedback to Tristan. You have 1 minute to do so. And at the end, we will collect these feedback forms. Just for you to know, Lisa is going to share with us a very important technique for creative problem solving. She has a very interesting title. Actually, I didn't know what it meant at the beginning, but she's going to explain it to us. The title is Meet Scamper. So please help me welcome Elisa.
One of my favorite quotes. Albert Einstein said, logic will get you from A to B, but imagination can take you everywhere. Have you ever been faced with a problem where you just believe that normal logic will get you nowhere and you just have to come up with a creative solution? Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, today I will introduce you to one of creative problem-solving techniques, and it's called Scamper. It was not created by me, but I'll come up with some creative ways to introduce this idea to you. You'll need Scamper, and Scamper is an acronym. And because you are so overwhelmed with acronyms, all in the UN system is about acronyms, with the help of a couple of smarties, we will help to decode the code of Scamper. So, it will be like the cheerleaders, give me an S, what the S stands for, give me a C, give me an A. So, why Smarties? Smarties remind me of my childhood and reminds me of creativity. And actually, growing up in Portugal in the 80s, there was just one version of Smarties. And now, how many versions of you have that have been marketed around Smarties brand? And that's why I decided to use this for Scamper. So, S, we open Scamper box. S stands for substitute. So what have the Smarties done in terms of substitution? You can substitute ingredients, or you can have a competitor copying the idea of Smarties and just substituting, like you could substitute chocolate with fruit, and you could get fruit gums, or could get something like Skittles, you might have heard. So that's substitute. Combine. Can you combine Smarties with something else? You can combine Smarties, let's say, with cookie dough, and you can get chocolate chip Smartie cookies. Or you can combine Smarties with ice cream, and you can get Smarties ice cream. And I've seen those for sale, if not here, at least in the US I have. A, it's to adapt. So you want to sell Smarties, and you can adapt it to a specific occasion. For example, it's Easter, and you can put the chocolate bunny with Smarties inside, and in fact I saw those for sale in the commissary. Modify, magnify, or minimize. Just modify Smarties. We could make Smarties too really, really big, or really, really small. And I have seen those. I have seen huge Smarties tubs. I think it was for sale in the airport, in duty-free shop. Or really small ones, those I've seen in the supermarket, mini Smarties. You can put it to another use. But what use? So you have a group of Smarties, and Smarties are for kids. Kids like colors, and kids like to paint, and they like crayons, so you could take these and make a crayon box. Yeah? And I've seen those too. Marketing trick. Eliminate. What can you eliminate in the Smarties? Well, you can eliminate sugar, and you can get a sugar-free version of Smarties, or you could eliminate the color and get, let's say, just black Smarties or black and orange Smarties, maybe for a special Halloween edition of Smarties. Yeah? I've seen those too. Reverse. How can you reverse Smarties? So you could have the chocolate outside, and inside the little dots. That would be like a chocolate bar of Smarties, but I've seen those too, you know, chocolate bar of Smarties, and inside the little Smarties, really tiny Smarties. Yeah. So now we broke the code of Scamper. You are familiar with the concept. Can we think of ways that we can apply this technique to our daily lives? Are you facing with some challenging project? Maybe at home you have to redecorate your backyard, or you have to prepare a dinner party, or you have to plan a real nice and interesting family trip with your family. Can you think about things you can eliminate, combine, put to a different use, or reverse the order? And think about work. Are you working on a challenging project? Are you working with a challenging team, or challenged with other units? Can you think of ways that you can substitute, modify the way you do things, or the way you look at things? Or even think of the Toastmasters. I've heard there is a club that has done the reverse order. That would be really interesting. So we start with the general evaluation, then we move on, we do the account-er, the grammarian, and then we just have to do speeches and to do table topics that will fit to that evaluation. That would be really challenging, right? But some clubs are doing it. I think that's brilliant. And so, this is bringing us to an end. 3 key takeaways from this presentation. Number 1, in Portugal in the 80s, there was only one version of Smarties. That's very important that you remember. Number 2, if you forget anything about the Scamper acronym, just think of it, those images. Think about the chocolate Smarties and the bunny Smarties and the chocolate bar and the Halloween version of Smarties. I think in between the cookie dough and all the rest, you will still remember what it stands for. And then final, really use it. And think about Einstein, because imagination can take you everywhere.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Very exciting topic. You have again 1 minute to provide feedback. I think you have enough. You all have the form, so we're going to use this yellow cup now. I think the minute is over. So with this, I would like us to go to the second part of our meeting, the impromptu speeches. As I said before, impromptu speeches is like a way that will help us develop our thoughts, so that when we face moments where we have to respond to a question, we don't get stuck and we know how to respond in a very efficient and a way that makes sense. So I would like to call now our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sunil, who will, who actually has prepared some table topics and that are titled "If You Were."
Hello Toastmasters, honored guests. Table topics are impromptu speak, and this gives you an ability to stand up in front of people, practice the way you would like to communicate. And it's an easier and an effective way to dwell into the world of Toastmasters. So today I've got some challenging topics for you, and also interesting ones. But before I do that, I will quote yet another quote from Albert Einstein, who says, "If I was not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in terms of music." This is Einstein. "I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music." Albert Einstein. So with this, Toastmaster Birshe, if you were a doctor, what kind of doctor would you be and why?
If I would choose to be a doctor, I would choose to be a children doctor, because I think it's important to take care of the health of the children, and I also think that being a children's doctor is also important, because you are the first foreign person who gets the trust of the child, and this is why children never forget their doctors, and also because of the sweets they are getting after the examination. And yeah, and this is why I would choose to get a children doctor, and also to get remembered.
You now have 1 minute to comment on the table topic. No? Okay, sorry. I haven't been here long. Let's roll on. I now call upon our guest, would-be Toastmaster Lydia. If you were a pilot, where would you like to fly and why?
Okay. If I were to be a pilot and could choose any destination in the world, I would choose to fly to South America. And here's why. Going to South America has been my lifelong dream, and I think, I assume that if you work for an airline, you don't get to stay where you're flying to. But as you might know, I'm sure of it, is that South America is famous for its natural beauty, and this is something you can also see just from flying over it. If I, however, get a chance to stay there for at least a few days, it would bring me closer to my future travels, and will give me a nice, a big motivation to go there sooner or later.
I now request our guest today, if you would like to participate, you don't have to, but I would like to. Why not? So the question I have for you is, if you have an evening with a celebrity, who would it be and why?
Well, celebrities of any kind.
Yes.
Be politicians as well. Well, I think I would like to go for probably the president of my country. Because I'm from Nigeria, and then it's it's supposed to be a developed country, but due to some economic and political instability, it's been developing or underdeveloped country. And then the latest president, or the president we have now, the current president of my country, has been trying very much hard to make things work, of which people do not see, and I see what he's doing. So I would like to sit with him, to talk with him, and to get much more experience from him, and to also tell him what I think that he should do. So this will be my biggest, or this is my wildest dream. Thank you.
Toastmaster Dinesh, if you were to have a pet, which animal would it be and why?
Thank you for this opportunity. If I were supposed to have a pet, probably I would have a cat with me, because I love cats since my childhood, and for me the cat is a very lovely and very innocent animal to have as a pet. And I have spent my long moments with the cat in my childhood, and I really remember those days. And a cat can be a very good friend to human, especially with the children, even with the grown-up as well. Hopefully, I always desire to have a cat so that I can live a very synergetic life with a cat.
I would now invite Toastmaster Vic Tm, if he may. If you want to spend €1 million, where would you spend and why?
Thank you, Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests. We may all have dreamed about winning the lottery and having that famous €1 million. What do we do with that? Many of us would spend it in different ways depending on the stage of their life and what their priorities are. Having been asked that question now, if I would have €1 million, I would only invest it on education. What education? Well, I have 2 kids, 4.5 and 1.5 years old. But not only for them, because €1 million is obviously too much for them. But I will try to build synergies within the community where I live. I would see what other people are doing with their kids, what their aspirations are, what they want to achieve for the future of their children. Because when we are talking about kids, that's what we look up to. That's where we wish to see our dreams being fulfilled and realized. And education is the key vehicle and message which would bring us there. I frankly don't know what I would spend that $1 million on in terms of logistics. We may need to take some finance people here, some business managers, and maybe we could think together on how to best spend that money. But in rough terms, that's what I'll do.
I think there are great synergies around the tables in telling their views, what they could be. And as we also heard from Toastmaster Melissa, it's not about the limitations, it's about your imaginations, and that can take you everywhere. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sunny. I would like to summarize for you now who gave an answer on our table topic session today. First we had Lydia. Pardon, so the order is different. First we had Gugur. I hope I'm pronouncing well.
No, this is my last name.
Okay.
Virche.
I'm so sorry. So first we had Virche. Second we had Lydia. Then third was Ola Bogate. Is it right?
Ola.
Ola Bogate. I'm sorry for pronunciation. Number 4 was Dinesh. And number 5 was Gentian. So you again have 1 minute and you can provide your feedback on this paper that is lying in front of you.
Just vote for
The
one.
bottom one,
Yes,
just write
vote
the
for
name.
one please. They wanted to consider that gave the best answer.
That's the very bottom. Deacon, the very bottom.
It's the bottom one.
Write the name there.
One name.
For what is it? Table topic?
So the 1 minute is over now. I hope you have all voted. And I would like to conclude now the second part of the meeting and pass to the third part of the meeting, a very exciting part, the evaluation part. And I would like to call now our general evaluator, Toastmasters Gentian, to start providing us with his evaluation and to call upon his team to give us the right feedback.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Without further ado, I would like to call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Krista. Please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Genshin, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Tristan. I just came from a conference where there was an evaluation contest. So I'm feeling a little bit of pressure that I'm putting on myself for this evaluation. And I have to say, at that contest, I saw the best evaluation I have ever seen in Toastmasters. And fortunately, the person won, so at least I can see others who are good evaluators and know it. And I took paid careful attention to Tristan's speech. I prepared in advance. I read through the evaluation discussion, and I can say to Tristan that you are giving outstanding speeches. And it is very interesting for me at least, and I'm sure for others, to watch your progression through the Competent Communications Manual. It is very obvious that you are preparing more and more for speeches. I think you had one speech where it was a little bit rusty, and you knew that. And this is a really important part of speaking as well, is knowing yourself what you can improve. So I hope I can give you some information to not only continue with your speaking progress, because you have some very positive attributes, but also to make your speeches even better. So first, you started out with an introduction that had humor in it, but it also got us straight to the point of the speech. And it also was very well timed. Many people like to give a very long introduction. Your introduction timing was absolutely perfect, spot on. In addition, you also had a very well organized speech. All of us knew where you were heading next, we knew where we were in the speech, and we saw something more coming. And this was very pleasant and enjoyable to watch. From the perspective of what could potentially improve the speech, you used a lot of rhetorical devices that were very well used. One of them, when you showed the Russian dolls on the slide, you could have actually explained that yourself. So this was a really good rhetorical device in how things can grow and be within each other. And you could actually do that. This was about words. So if you can portray to an audience of what Russian dolls are, then you have really mastered words. It's not a simple concept, and some people in the audience might come up with different ideas if they've never seen Russian dolls, but it would still be interesting for them. In addition, at the conclusion, it seemed to end fairly quickly. So your timing was great in the beginning, in the middle, and then the end kind of stopped. And for example, you might have even gone back to the Brexit, Frexit, Fix-It example. And this is another rhetorical device. You choose 3 of something, and it sticks in people's minds. Brexit, Frexit, Fix-It. So just a couple of ideas to continue to use what your strengths are, because you have many strengths, and also to continue to improve. So thank you very much for your effort.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Krista. Yes, please, I would like
What was
to...
the point of order? Sorry.
Point of order, the general evaluator should be now calling up the people evaluating, not the Toastmaster.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Sorry, we are all learning here. I often fail to learn. The next evaluator is James. Please. Thank you very much.
General evaluator. Hello Toastmasters, honours guests. I need to apologise first off that I haven't got a great synergy with my speaker today because I'm taking on this role at the last moment, so I do feel as though I'm not giving you true justice, I'm afraid. So please apologies if I'm not bringing things across as well as I could. Very well done for your presentation. I think it was a well-constructed presentation, and the analogies with Smarties always goes down well. Sweets is very good, because it's something we can engage with, and I think something that's, you're working with a complex topic, you can break it down to something that we can actually understand. That's really, really quite helpful. I do feel, though, this is a presentation about body language. You were using visuals, which can be very much a distraction, so you're apologising by standing at the side here. So really you should be at the centre. Speak to your audience, okay. You were getting more comfortable towards the end, and you were moving more, and I noticed that you were over here. I was craning I thought you were going to go out the room at some stage, but it was good, you got more comfortable. Your eye contact was more at the back of the room. When I was trained to be an actor at school, they said, speak to the back of the audience because at least you know your voice is being heard, but we're more of a close audience, so we can engage more, and that's how we can get people feeling close to us. Yes, also the movement with the pointer, I think, restricts you. I think you were a little bit, felt there was restrictive, so other than it was a very good speech, I think you did very good preparation and really brought yourself out well. I think there's a bit more of a relaxedness you can bring to the table. Thank you very much.
Show your hands next time. Point of order. How does it go?
Each of the evaluation team, according to
Right,
you.
so we continue with the evaluation. The next two to speak is grammarian reading. Please.
Hello Toastmasters, General Evaluator, honoured guest. I'm so happy to be here. My suggestions. The Toastmaster of the day is not the Toastmasters of the day. It's one person, singular, the Toastmaster of the day. The evaluations are plural. We have an evaluation session where we have evaluations. The general evaluator gave a very good summary when he first started, though then he was called upon to give a little bit more detail, but I thought the summary in itself was very well presented when he was first introduced at the beginning of the meeting. the little bucket or glass, we actually would call this a cup. This was our big news. I would say this was big news. We don't say our big news. Our is a singular thing. It's not really used in the terms of news. Or I am French. I am, or there was something in the way, or I am French, or am I French? It was a question. So the words I would have used in the opposite order. Or am I French? That was the point that you were saying. We can all look at the video afterwards to check ourselves and get our own feedback, because ultimately we are our own worst critic or best critic. So since the session is being filmed today, then those who are interested can always look at the video feedback. There is different layers. There are different layers. It's plural. It, depending to who you talk, I would say depending on who you are talking to. In any of those countries, we're talking about those countries, it's a plural, to one of creative solving technique, I would say to a technique of creatively solving, or to a creative solving technique, not to one of creative solving. And then final, think about Einstein, and then finally, think about Einstein. Table topics are impromptu speeches. It was said table topics are impromptu. I didn't catch whether it was speak or speech, the way that it was expressed, but table topics are impromptu speeches. Who gets the trust of the child? I would say to win the trust of the child. Get the children's doctor, I would say to become a children's doctor. To get remembered, to be remembered. And we have a constitutional member of our club who, if she was here today, she would have told us, never apologise. When you come up here, don't draw attention to the mistakes that you've made, to your own shortcomings, because nobody else will even know it. This is a club where we do learning by doing, and we just come up here, whether we're prepared or not, and we just stand the test and be prepared to be criticised, but we just come up here and we do it without saying, I'm sorry. And we hand over with a handshake and a clap for me.
Thank you very much. Remember, we're never sorry at this club. Next up is timekeeper, Yunroy, please. You can shake hands.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Dear Toastmaster, I'm happy to announce the time that we spent during our speech. Most of the speakers use the time properly. Toastmaster Trinson, you spent 6 and 40 minutes for your speech. And Toastmaster Melissa, you spent 5 minutes and 40 seconds for your speech. For the section of the table topics, Toastmaster Bircher, you spent 50 seconds for your speech. I hope you can speak a little bit longer, because the normal time is more than 1 minute. More than 1 minute. And the Toastmaster Lilia, you spent 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Toastmaster Ola, you spent 1 minute. And Toastmaster Denise, you spent 50 seconds. And also I hope you can spend a little bit longer time for your speech. And Toastmaster Genjin, you spent 1 minute and 20 seconds for the table topics. And for the evaluation section, Toastmaster Krista, you spent 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And Toastmaster James, you spent 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have the art counter, Toastmaster Rita.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, my job was to count all these R's, O's and N's, and yep, Toastmaster Monica as usual. I mean, you just pay one royalty. Like I counted 11 times. Some people, they just cannot, and exactly, Toastmaster Claire was exactly the same. It is in your nature. Toastmaster Gentian, only 3. Toastmaster James.
All right.
Yeah, 8 times. I don't know how it is. And Toastmaster Lily, 3. And Toastmaster Unurai. Before each single word, I'm listening carefully, each single word, what you said. You stretch a little bit. And so you just pay €1, okay? Toastmaster Tristan, 3. Toastmaster Melissa, 3. Table topics, Toastmaster Blitzer, I counted 3 times, twice. And because in the table topics that's normal, so don't worry, it was not a great speech. 2. Toastmaster Lydia, 5. The Toastmaster Ola, 3 times. Toastmaster Dinesh, 4 times, and that ends my report.
Point of order.
Huh?
Guests don't pay anything.
Right. Guests don't exactly, yeah. And also in table topics, that's just normal. It was
Thank you very much for illuminating our minds where we stand with our pillars and use these words. Please, point of order.
Toastmaster General Evaluator, may I just also point out the word synergy was used most by Toastmaster Gentian.
Thank you very much. It certainly does flatter my ego. To conclude, in terms of evaluation, we all come here, we take our time. But a few of us are high-level professionals, very busy in their agendas. And I can't emphasize it enough, how happy, how joy it brings to me to see all of you really creating a team together, making our club real. That's synergy, for how much overused this word may be today. It certainly gives sense to the existence of our club, so I'm very happy for that. The meeting began on time, in a very well-structured manner. Krista, in terms of comments for your evaluations, we witnessed today 2 outstanding evaluations from Krista and James. Apologies apart, still you made a very cogent point in your evaluation. And I very much liked from each of you, especially Krista, the dissection of the speech and giving some concrete feedback which Krista I hope will appreciate and use it next time. Overall, I found it a very productive meeting, a very engaging one. It gave us this positive vibe, energy, which we will keep flowing to our next meetings. That concludes my evaluation for today.
Thank you very much. And may we please call upon our ballot counter to announce the winner of the session?
Before we call the ballot counter, I forgot a crucially important point. The table topics master. Thank you very much for the preparation. You had put quite a bit of preparation behind those questions, and I very much appreciated them. Open questions which give opportunity to each one of us to speak their mind out. I want to thank and commend you for that. The ballot counter, Toastmaster Tristan, please.
When general evaluator, you forgot me, but I had a lot of synergy with you. I would like to say that I thoroughly counted the ballots, the table topic today, and the results come and will flatter your ego that you received 5 votes and you are the winner of the table topic. But I'm not sure what's the one.
No, it is there.
Can I make a point of order? I would have appreciated some tougher competition because you threw it mostly to the newcomers and the guests. And of course, we have heavyweights in this room.
Speak to yourself.
Thank you very much, General Moderator. So we now pass to the third part of our meeting, or actually, we're finishing the third part of our meeting, and now I will summarize for you. I heard from Toastmasters Maria Teresa that we're not supposed to say thank you in Toastmasters, but still I would like to thank you all for your participation and for your enthusiasm, for finding synergies and for working together. I have to say that I also want to congratulate us because we filled 100% of the roles before the meeting, so this is not very usual. So and it was great that some of you were very spontaneous, decided last minute to take over the roles. I think that's the best way of learning, and even if we're not experts and we don't know exactly what to do, I think that we all learn by doing. So it's great, and I would say that we should keep on doing like that. So with this, I would like to hand over to our president of the club, and I hope to see you soon again, and that next time someone else will take over the role of Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. And I have to comment on the thank you, because it is sometimes heard that we should not say thank you, but that's really at the end of your own speech, that you don't thank the audience for listening to you, because really it's the audience's honor to listen to the speech. So very often this gets construed to don't say thank you, but we are absolutely promoting saying thank you in all other instances, and always thank the speaker, thank the table topics master, and all that. So just to clarify that. Also the use of the lectern, and not to do another evaluation, but the use of the lectern comes in question sometimes in this club. Should I use it? Should I stay at my seat? In many clubs, everyone comes to the lectern because it gives you good practice of being up here and being able to see everyone. If you would like to practice staying at your seat and standing, which is also occurs in meetings, then you're welcome to do that as well. I'm sort of the type of person that says, okay, there's a rule, but then there's always times when maybe we don't need so many rules, right? So with those two notes, it was a superb meeting again. It amazes me. This club always comes together, sometimes at the last minute, sometimes in advance, but often at the last minute, and presents a fantastic meeting. The officer elections occur at the next meeting. So the 13th of June is our next meeting. Please start signing up. And if it turns out you can't make it, go ahead and sign up and start thinking about a role or a speech or whatever. But if you think you can't make it, then go in and change it, and we can find somebody else. But feel free to anticipate the next as many meetings as you like of what you would like to do next. So that's the 13th of June, and like I said, we'll have officer elections, but that will be a short portion of the meeting because we still want to have mostly people speaking during the meeting. That's the point. The guests, I do have one other comment about the meeting. The guests actually were tough competition.
Yes, thank you.
You might want to be humble and say,
we don't shoot at the guests. Very much so. What I meant is.
But I have to say too, I think it's great when guests jump for the opportunity. There was no hesitation from each of you, and I think maybe the VIC has the type of people that as guests can jump right in and start speaking during the meeting. And I would like to hear from the guests still now. So future Toastmaster Vircha, and I think you have your application in the process somewhere. Could you give us your impression of the meeting today?
Yeah, I enjoyed it again, and I'm glad to join the club.
Thank you. And Lydia, how about your impression of the meeting?
Well, my application is about to be processed after this meeting, so I hope I will become a member as well. Today even brought me a clear picture of what I want to get from joining the Toastmasters, and I really enjoyed both of the speeches. Again, I got to listen to the same people, and it's really nice to also compare it to previous time. And yes, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Sunil, for challenging us to speak up. This is already a nice step to getting out of the comfort zone, which is always a good thing. Thank you.
And Ola, please give us your impression.
Thank you very much. I would say I'm extremely impressed and I'm really glad to be here today because Tristan's presentation got me like a wow, and it reminds me of while I was in the undergrad school. So I was like, wow, the slides are so awesome. Like, you know, I really want to, like, I have a feeling like I really need to improve my presentation skills like that, up to that level, you know. And then I was like, well, this is the kind of place where I really want to be to improve myself, because I would like myself to be a very good public speaker. So, thank you very much.
I'll see all three of you again on the 13th of June. And Dinesh, as the first meeting as a member, please give us your general impression.
Thank you. And as last time, this time also I enjoyed a lot, and I got the opportunity to learn many things. And I have seen that I will, in the future, I will learn many things to be a good Toastmaster, to be fit for the club. Thank you so much.
I mentioned a couple of things about Berlin. In addition to the speeches and evaluation contests, they also have workshops. So there were several workshops that we attended, and it is always useful to hear from usually very high-level Toastmasters that give these workshops on different things to do. Some of them were how to sell yourself in 7 seconds. And believe it or not, the whole presentation was about selling yourself in really 7 seconds.
7 seconds?
The world has changed. The world has changed, and 7 seconds is all we have now. to hear from other people. And in some cases, that's true. How many times do you go to YouTube and you start watching something and that's over? This guy's going to talk forever, so you go to the next one. And there could have been something great in there. Too bad. 7 seconds.
And can we watch these presentations online, or is there a...
I don't think so. I think you have to go to the conferences. They're very interesting, and we even have them at the area and at the division level. Some of them, I have to say, at this conference, I'm going to have some comments, because some of them were not at the high level that I've seen in the past. But I'm still willing to take the chance always. Because, and right now I just told you about 7 seconds, so I obviously got something from that presentation. Even though it went on longer than it should have, probably, interestingly enough. But at the same time, the workshops that I've been to in the past, every single one of them I have learned something from. One was about storytelling, how to tell a story, how to make it climax, how to make it go down, how to love the character, all this sort of thing. So the workshops are absolutely a big part of it. Watching the speech contests and evaluation contests are really exciting as well, because you in your own mind try to figure out who might win. I've judged at these contests as well, so you feel some pressure. Sometimes I take a sheet myself, a judging sheet, because you can get them online, and I sit and judge, and I see if it comes out the same way as the others, and this just makes it more interesting as well. So there's a lot to do at these. And I happened to be there with Melissa, so we also spent every other spare minute seeing Berlin. And it'll probably take me a week to move on. But then I want to tell you about the next conference. And it is very close. It's in Brno. So that is only a 2-hour train ride, a 2-hour drive from here. If you wanted to, these conferences are usually, when this one will be too, on Friday and Saturday. Saturday's really the big day because those are the finals contests. Friday's also very interesting because there's workshops and the semifinal contest, so you can see if your favorites move forward to the finals. But if you wanted to, you could just go up on Saturday, drive up to Brno, watch the contests, do the workshops, and actually drive home, not even have to stay overnight. I'm fairly certain I'll do the same thing. I usually like to go on a Friday morning and come back on Sunday morning so that I get the whole experience. And they always have a gala dinner and a dance on the Saturday night. And many people have known each other at these conferences for years. So you get to see this synergy, I finally used the word, you get to see this synergy of Toastmasters from many countries come together and see each other twice a year. These conferences happen. So the 17th through the 18th of November is the Brno conference. And I have to get a sheet because they are building up to it. If you go to the Toastmasters, if you go to EasySpeak, the Toastmasters website, you can go to District 95, click on District 95, and it's a good way to start getting familiar with the website anyway. If you can't find it, email me or any of the other officers or anybody you see around here. Email us and we'll send you the website, the link. If you go to conferences, the Brno will be there. And then it will take you to an external site after that. And that's their actual advertisement, I guess you'd say. But they're doing the conference mafia style. And they have a little description here of how they're going to figure out who their clan is and who's going to be the head of the mafia after this conference. So they're really playing it up. And it could be very interesting. Well, it will be very interesting. And it's so... I don't know.
Only a few
You
here.
have to ask. The language sounds convincing to me. And don't forget, too, that in between time, so this is the district conference that's coming in the fall. Before that will be the area conference, which will be here in Vienna. And that's a much smaller one, of course. It's about 3 clubs that get together. And there's 1 or 2 workshops. And then the next one will be Austria, Hungary, and Czech that get together at the division conference. And then go to Brno. So as you progress, you can actually see who wins the contest at each level and watch them progress. So those are not set yet. Those dates are not set. But the one in Brno is absolutely set. The website opens in 8 days for the registration. And I mention that because they always have cheaper registrations reserved up front, and they go within hours. So if you know you're going to go in there. It's like 10, I think you say 30 euros, something like this for registration. And then at the end, it'll probably be around 99 euros registration later. And you can register one day, not both days, etc. There's different prices for different things. So go to the website and check all of that out. I think that's table topics. So if you have any questions about conferences, meetings, anything like that, let me know, let anybody else around here know. And that's it. Any other last calls, information? Okay.
Like an elevator speech.
Yeah.